December business meeting of the First Baptist Church. It's an unusual way to have a business meeting, but of course we're bringing the year 2020 to a close, and this has been a year like no other. I think about the Apostle Paul when he wrote to the Philippians. He was in jail in Rome. He knew his execution would not be far away, but he said, "I want you to know that what has happened to me has served for the advancement of the gospel." Of all the negatives, of all of the restrictions and the limitations that we have experienced in this pandemic, I want you to know, brothers and sisters, that one good thing that has come out of this is the advancement of the gospel. Your church is alive and well, and we have been able to proclaim the gospel, reaching more people than we ever have before. And that's because of our technology team, who are committed and dedicated to make sure that this broadcast is possible. And I want to thank them and our church staff as they have gone above and beyond. And I want to thank you for your faithfulness. You have responded to special efforts that we've had, feeding the children through the Feeding Roundup, through the Shoebox Ministry, the Salvation Army Christmas Angels, the pajamas for the foster children, and our food boxes that will be gift cards this year that we will give to families in need. For all of the different ways that you have responded, we are so very grateful. I have a couple of announcements to share with you as we're in the month of December. Number one, we're getting ready for a December like none other. Two of our most sacred and special services happen in the month of December, the 9 lessons and carols and the Christmas Eve candlelight service. Obviously, we will not be able to have those services in person. Last year, our 9 lessons and carols was one of the best ever under the direction of Wes Richardson. We will have a 9 lessons on the 20th of December. It will be a replay of last year's 9 lessons and carols. For those of you who listen to the service on the radio broadcast, it will be from 11 until 12 on Sunday morning, December the 20th. And for those of you that watch on YouTube, it will go live at 11 o'clock on that Sunday, and of course it will be posted on YouTube for a long time. Our Christmas Eve service will be recorded, it will be on YouTube, and it will be available on Christmas Eve. It's always in December that we vote on our budget, because we haven't been able to get together and have committees, because we haven't been able to have congregational meetings. The budget that you will hear about as you watch this is basically last year's budget. Our church treasurer, David Huneycutt, will share more details with you. But we do want to give you an opportunity to ask questions, ask for clarifications, to respond to this, and of course to vote. As soon as you watch this, if you have a question, if you have something about this budget that you don't understand, we invite you to email us, to contact us, and then we will respond. You have until December the 12th to ask any question or any clarification. And then beginning on December the 13th, you will have the opportunity to vote, and we will give you all the details. I'll share it with you in my FBC Friends email. But you will have the opportunity from December the 13th to December the 17th to vote. If you don't want to vote online, you can call the information line and leave your vote that way. Thank you again for all that you do. First Baptist Church continues to be a light of hope in this community. We continue to share the good news of Jesus Christ. Our church treasurer, David Huneycutt, will now be sharing with us more details about the 2021 church budget.
I'm here tonight to discuss the proposed 2021 church budget. What we'll do, you should have a copy of this. I'm going to go through mainly the expenses, and then we'll kind of come back to the income accounts that really kind of fall into place after we see what the expenses need to be. Really, as Ray mentioned, there's only slight changes to the budget. We have certain areas that were frozen from last year's numbers. We are not going to change those. Those will be your personnel expenses, your building and grounds expenses, and the missions have just a slight change, a slight decrease. But for the most part, the items that will change will be your administrative costs and utilities, insurance, et cetera, things like that. But I will go through each section and just point out some of the items. Starting for our expenses under utilities, we are budgeting this year $72,680. That is up from the prior year at $68,495. We do have some increases, mainly with the telephone. As I'll point out when we get to our computer expenses, the telephone is internet-based, it's voice over IP, so some of the internet usage and phone usage, the increase is tied to our IT service contract. Also, we have our expenses that we know. We've spoken with folks at the City of Lexington to gain an understanding of how our increases may be with our utilities. So you can see the increase from $57,500 to $59,100 for electricity and gas. Our water and sewer fee, as you can see, was $5,800 this past year. It did decrease to $4,600. However, there is a new stormwater fee of $2,400 that is proposed in the budget, and that is up from $700 budgeted this year. This is a new fee that is being passed along. I think it's a state mandated wastewater fee based on the, I believe, I don't know all the details, but it's passed along based on the footage of street front that you have on your property. So we expect a pretty sizable increase in the stormwater fee. So if you add those two together, it's fairly similar to last year, but it is increased. And then we also have your recycle cart fees remaining constant at $180. So as I said, our total proposed for utilities is $72,680. Moving down to repairs and maintenance, everything remained constant here. As I mentioned, building and grounds, the budget there is frozen at $52,792. The other categories with the janitor contract, repairs, supplies, the garbage, and yard maintenance all remain constant. So as I mentioned, $122,396, no change. Under vehicles, we have our vehicles expense and vehicle insurance. The change there, we did have a decrease of $800 on our vehicle insurance, and that's really nice to have a decrease on your insurance expense. This is due to our good driving record for our drivers that we have. So we are going to experience less fees regarding the insurance. So $50,050 was our 2020 budget, and it's down to $42,50 for the upcoming year. Other property expenses, we have our general hazard insurance remains at $24,100. Our workers' comp insurance is decreasing approximately, or it is $500 decrease, and this is due to our no incidents that have been reported for any of our workers, so this is a good thing that we've had that decrease. The youth group insurance and the miscellaneous remain constant, so our total there budgeted is $27,200 as opposed to $27,700 prior year. So our total building and equipment is $226,526, and that is up from $223,641 prior year. All right, moving on over to office administration. We have our computer software support. This is our IT services. As I mentioned, we do have an increase here. Our prior budget had $6,100 allotted. This year we have $12,000. We do have a new group in place. I know there have been some issues in the past with our prior IT service provider. The new vendor has been in place, and I think that what has been experienced so far has been nothing but great. When there are troubles, the tickets are resolved in a timely manner. In the past, we've had some issues with our phone system. Sometimes we've had to experience delays in getting those resolved, but I think overall, everything is going really well with the new IT company. So this is part of the increase, as I mentioned, with the phones, as well as our IT support. Computer supplies remain the same at $25.25. Our copier has increased slightly from $69.50 to $76.50. This is due to a sales tax that is imposed on the copier. Office supplies remain at $1,500. Our paper and printing just up $150 to $1,750. Our postage, with the stamp increase, we are budgeting an extra $100 to $2,700. And our Vanco fees, this is the group that manages our online giving. So the more that is provided through our website and online giving, the administrative fee that goes with that does increase slightly. So we've budgeted $11,050 up from $960. So our total expenses that are budgeted in office administration are $29,275 as opposed to $22,235 for this year. Salaries and benefits, as I mentioned earlier, remain frozen at $357,707. The total educational department remains constant at $33,455. Special ministries, we did have a technology streaming license. As Jim explained to me, I think, we do have licenses to play music here in the sanctuary. This fee also is going to allow us to play music and the hymns that we have over the internet to be broadcast with our streaming. So we do have that additional fee at $255. So $18,955 budgeted as opposed to $18,700 this year. Our music ministry total is $8,725, no changes there. Moving on to our missions, everything, as I mentioned earlier, remained the same. Our total CBF missions remained at $27,700. Our total community missions will remain at $31,760. We did have one change under state missions. Cecilia Beck's support, from what I understand, she is getting married and is no longer going to participate in this ministry. So we did have $750 budgeted in the current year, and going forward, we will have $0 there. So our total state missions will be $600 as opposed to $1,350. Our national ministries remained at $850. Total international missions at $3750. So as I mentioned, the only change in the budget was the Cecilia Beck. So we had $64,660 budgeted for the 2021 year, and that's down, just as I mentioned, from $65,410 for the current year. So overall, our total expenses for 2021, we're proposing $709,303, and that is compared to $699,873 for the 2020 year. So that brings us back to the income section. Really, it's almost like we've gone over this before in the past, it's fill in the blanks. We do know this year, we started out the year, did not know that we would get the PPP loans, so that was not really budgeted, and it's not budgeted going forward. We don't know if there's going to be any additional stimulus that might be out there for us, but we will stay abreast of that and see if anything becomes available. We budget a minimal amount for interest income and property income. We have $50 for interest, $500 for property income for any use of the building. We do budget the $25,000 for the endowment transfer in case we are in need of those funds. Martha Best Children's Center refunds, we budgeted $34,000. That's a $2,000 decrease as we're trying to slowly reduce the amount that they pay us back on a monthly basis. The sales tax refund, we leave that at $2,500, and that's just based on purchases throughout the year. We do get a refund for any sales taxes that are paid during the year. So that leaves us, once we figure out those items, the one line item that we do plug in is the contributions to the missions budget. So after all said and done with the expenses and those revenues that we just discussed, we are needing $647,253 from the missions budget, and that's up from $635,823 during 2020. So there is a small increase there. We're hoping that this pandemic is going to come to a close during 2021 and things will hopefully somewhat get back to normal. But as I said, really no changes in your budget except for the items noted, and those were minimal. So we will look forward to hearing from you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please email the church, Ray, Jim, even myself if needed. We'll be glad to respond to you. And I think Ray did mention you have until December 12th, and then the vote will be thereafter. Thank you.